But all right, so we just saw this. All right, so level 1 thought, right? That the Neku was not Neku, right? Simple thoughts, right? So level 1, Neku is not Neku. Why is Neku not Neku? Let's talk about that part. That's where we get into level 2, right? First game, in a new day, Neku and Beat got pulled back into the UG, right? Through a noise, right? So kind of very similar to how this happened, right? They were both still very much alive because they had already came back alive, but then they got pulled back into the UG by this noise. So towards the end of that, you see Neku and Beat find Coco. Coco takes them to a noise, but then at the end, as they felt like they had won, Neku gets shot and killed, right? Now, this is all detailed. This is all detailed in the secret reports. The secret reports were written by Hanekoma, right? And I put this in my video too, so definitely check out that video. That last video will tell you everything you need to know. The 10-pin Neku theory. So, Neku got shot and killed, right? Now, this would be normal, right? This would be very normal. Neku would just have to play in the Reaper games again, right? But think about this. There are two different stipulations that prevent him from coming back, right? One, he's already in the UG, so if he dies in the UG, he's erased, right? First one, right? Second one, right here. Remember what Kitaniji said? After this time you play the Reaper game, there is no more returns. You're done. This was your last entry, right? Which makes sense because if Neku's really that good and he wins again, what point is there in throwing him in the Reaper's game once again? You can't do it. Because guess what will happen? He'll win yet again, and then you're still in the same situation. So basically, he would have infinite life. So they put a check and balance over this Neku, right? So that Neku is dead, right? That Neku is officially gone. Like the way that they showed him die, compared to the other ways he died, normally he just died and he laid there, right? This time when he died, you saw him disintegrate. Like he just vaporized, okay? I mean, you can look up the video. It's the New Days. I know there's definitely cutscenes lying around because I've definitely looked at them myself to decipher what's going on. Now, once you get beyond that part, you see Hanekoma and Josh. So Josh tried to save Neku, right? Because Neku is his friend, right? He was abreast of the situation, but you know, he's the higher power that be. So he can't really get directly involved a lot of the time. So Hanekoma tried to pull both boys out. However, he only managed to save one. Once again, he said he managed to save one. Which one did he save? Beat. That's the only one he could have saved. Now, they wanted Neku because of what was happening with the inversion in Shinjuku, right? The Shinjuku Reapers are now here in Shibuya. Now we're getting to this level 3 thought, okay? This is where it gets crazy. Now, we're going back a little bit. So think week 2, day 7. Week 2, day 7, you just fought Sho Minamimoto on top of Pork City. Sho goes out in a blaze of glory, right? He tries to blow himself up along with Neku and Josh. So no one wins, right? Knowing later on he'll get revived through the Noise Refinery sigil. Josh pushes Neku off the building, saying, Neku, save yourself, right? Because that's his proxy. He needs him to win the game, otherwise he won't win. Josh, on the other hand, took the blast because he can take the blast. So after taking that blast, he took a lot of damage, of course, but he was still alive, right? So he wasn't there the entire week 3 because in order to recover, Josh went to a parallel world. Now, parallel world that he went to was the one where Tenpin reigned supreme. This is also listed in the secret reports as well. So in the world where Tenpin reigned supreme, we also know that as Secret Day X or Another Day, because that Neku is very interested in what? Tenpin. Everybody in the city is interested in what? Tenpin, right? These are all things that we know to be true. Now, we can talk about 2 different routes here, okay? So we can talk one route and we can talk another route, okay? I'll go in order. Now, the first route, you're going through Neku, you're doing the 10-pin thing where basically they stole everybody's 10 pins. You're walking around with Josh, right? Now this Josh knows a lot about this world, right? This Josh is from this world, right? However, once you get to the Shibuya River, they said, hey, I don't think we really need to go in here, but hey, you want to go check it out? Everybody goes in there and checks it out. You get all the way to the Dead Reaper's pad, and then you get to the final area, and then you see another Joshua there. However, this Joshua says, I'm not from here. I'm just waiting for someone to pick me up. I'm from a world that's parallel to yours, but I kind of want to test you because I don't get to fight you because you were my teammate and my proxy, right? So in turn, Josh gives Neku that entire boss rush. Remember that boss rush we did about a week ago now? Joshua from our time, our universe, gave that Neku that test, okay? Now, after doing that test, he parts with Neku and gives Neku an angel feather, right? Now, that part is kind of interesting. I don't have concrete on that yes or no yet, so I'm not going to say much about that. However, what this shows Joshua is that this Neku is quite strong, right? He's just as strong as our Neku without any of the training. Because think about this. This Neku has never fought anyone in his life with pins. He's only done 10 pin. So he's just literally naturally that gifted with Sykes. So then if you go through the other route, which you go to Port City or Port Tower, whatever you want to call it, you end up going and seeing Hanekoma run in there, right? Now, this Neku is very familiar with Hanekoma because he's still kind of in tune to what other Neku likes, right? Okay. All right, yep, so we're entering this level 4 right here. This level 4. The level 4 meta thought, right? He's very in tune to what this Hanekoma is, right? Like, Hanekoma is the guy who owns the cat cafe, right? However, once he catches up to him at the very top of the tower, he finds out, hey, this at least this Hanekoma finds out that this Neku thinks he's the Hanekoma from that realm. However, he's not. He's the Hanekoma from our universe because he went back to pick up Josh. However, think about this. I said he went back to pick up Josh. Now, this puts you in a very peculiar spot because the inversion of Shinjuku was the first inversion we had ever seen, right? First inversion. He wrote it down as such in the secret reports. However, when he looks up at the sky, Hanekoma says, there's a sigil here too. Sigil here too means we've seen it before, right? So that actually pushes that timeline a little bit back because if he's already seen it once, that means he's seen it here at New Day. Later on means they went back to that parallel world to test this Neku again, right? Because Josh has already tested this Neku, so why not Hanekoma test this Neku? So Hanekoma sends his noise form after that Neku. Now, I'm sorry, I'm not reading any of the comments yet. I'll get to them in like a few seconds. Now, after testing this Neku really wants to help Hanekoma. So because that's his friend, right? That's his friend in that timeline. However, he fought him, he beat him, right? Think about this. This is only his second time using Sykes because he's still alive, A. He hasn't gone through the Reaper games, B. And he's beat Josh's boss gauntlet, right? So we know this Neku is so powerful, right? I think we'll recruit him later, right? So he says, you know, I might need you in a time a little later on, right? And where are we at now? A time a little later on where a Neku does not exist because he died with fighting with B. Think about that. If you are handpicked by Hanekoma and Josh, what does that make you? And what do those headphones have on them? You might be an angel, right? You might become an angel. You might also just be their chosen pick, right? To help save their timeline. That's all I'm saying. That's the biggest brain thought, okay? This is where I'm coming at in Neo, the World Ends With You, okay? Now, I can't confirm if I'm right or wrong. I have not seen anything. I'm not trying to get spoiled right now, so please don't tell me if I'm right. If you have told me I'm right or wrong, delete that comment. I'm not gonna look yet. I'll give you guys a few seconds because I know we're on delay. But that is where I sit in this game, okay? I've done a lot of going back and forth, seeing what's going on. Now, also, keep in mind, once you get to the end of a new day, I think that is a time lapse back to where another day is. Because Josh and Hanakoma are on top of Pork City talking about, well, now it's their problem, right? So who is there? I think it's their problem because guess what? They're looking down at Neku leaving, right? Neku's either leaving and Coco is expecting a Neku to come to their place, right? Because she's saying something about him and they needed Neku to deal with an issue, right? Now, they've also mentioned about Tsugumi, something about her needing Neku for something. I don't know what. I'm not that far, so we haven't gotten that far. But there's like so many layers of meta in this game, right? There's 12 years of meta that I've been festering on, okay? Now, it might sound crazy. It might sound crazy. But I'm thinking that Neku that is here is not only the Neku that is in this game, he's also swallowed because guess what? Our Neku from Tenpin loves video games and games like that. However, his parents don't let him play games at home. And he's a very happy guy, right? He's a very happy spirit. Okay? Like I know that went on a little bit. But just sit on that, okay, guys? That's something that you guys at stream heard first, okay? If Zetta is right, then you know, I'm sorry, my brain is a little bit massive, but if not, what a world that would be. What a wonderful world it will be.